I'm Rebecca, and I'm here with Direct Candle Supply. Direct Candle Supply is a Texas-based company with 20 years of experience, focused on high-quality product at a great value. Today I'm going to be making paraffin wax candles with 5% fragrance and dye. So first we're going to start off with cutting and weighing our paraffin. Our paraffin at Direct Candle Supply comes pre-cut into small slabs to facilitate ease of use. That way, you at home can do this quicker yourself. Now, I'm going to start off cutting this with a spatula. Now, I have already pre-cut and measured 10 ounces, but we're going to measure our 5% fragrance. Take the fragrance of your choice and be sure to weigh it on a scale. Now we're ready to prepare our containers. Today we're going to be making 2 Votives, 1 tin, and 1 glass candle. For this we're going to be using 2 different types of wicks. For the Votives in the glass, we're going to be using our medium 93 5-inch wick. And for our tin, we're going to be using the large 105 5-inch wick. Now, take some adhesive and place it at the bottom of the wick. Now, be sure to center it in the middle of the candle. And be sure to do this for all 4 candles. Now, wick size can be determined using the diameter of the container that you're using. The larger the diameter of the container, the larger the wick is going to be. So in this case, the tin is a 3-inch diameter, which is why we're using the large 105. The other containers are smaller, with the glass having a 2.5 diameter, which is why we're using the medium size. Now we're ready to melt our wax. Be sure to use a large pitcher so that you can melt your wax easily, and then place it inside of a pot with water to make a double boil. You're going to place the slabs of wax inside. Now you're going to wait for it to reach a temperature and melt of approximately 170 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, before we go ahead and pour our wax, we're going to put our wood wick holders on top of our candles. This is to ensure that they stay straight while we're pouring. Now, right after this, we're going to check the temperature and make sure that it's at the temperature that it needs to be. If it is not, then the wax will look slightly opaque and not as clear. Now, normally you would do this inside of the pitcher, but in this case, for demonstration purposes, we're going to show you. So, once your wax is fully melted, you're going to pour. As you can see, as it hits the bowl and it cools down, it slightly changes color, but in the center, it is clear. Now, your wax in slabs might look slightly different in color, being opaque or translucent, but that's just because it is in solid form. Once it is in liquid, it will all look the same. So now we're going to go ahead and add our fragrance, and we're going to add in our color. So for this, I've chosen turquoise. Now you're going to want to mix it all together, and as you can see, the color is changing drastically. Make sure that you have mixed thoroughly before you pour. Now that I have added my fragrance and dye, I'm ready to pour. So remember that with dye, however much you add will impact the color of your candles. So if you want darker candles, add more, lighter, add less. And now, after the wax has reached the desired temperature, make sure to pour soon, since paraffin wax cools pretty easily and you don't want it to get to an opaque color before you pour. Now we're going to pour gently and slowly to ensure that our candles are smooth. Another thing to note while your candles are cooling is that they might shrink. This is a characteristic with paraffin wax, and it might cause things like dips in the middle, and you might think that this is quite strange, but really it just requires a second or even third pouring after this. So keep your pitcher nearby filled with some extra wax so that you can determine how they look after they cool. Our candles have now finished cooling, and you can notice some of the things I was talking about earlier. With paraffin wax, it is perfectly normal for your candles to look like this after the first time. So in case you can't see, there are some holes in here, or it's caving in. So in order to fix that, we're going to take the remainder of our wax and do a second pour. Make sure that your wax is at the right temperature, and then go ahead and fill up until it meets the top of that previous wax. Once you've done so, you will again let it cool, and then see if you need to do this for a third time. Now that our candles have finished drying, they're ready to go. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the mold. And then for this one, as you can see, there are some slight imperfections. The glass is a little bit foggy and the top dried unevenly because of the 2 rounds of wax we did. In order to fix these imperfections, you can go ahead and take a heat gun. Wave it slightly over the top until it's all back to liquid form, and then go ahead and turn it off. This guarantees that the top all dries together evenly. You can also use it for this fogginess by taking a slight amount of heat and getting rid of that fog. Now you're ready to put your warning stickers on it and cut the wicks. All that's left now is to cut the wicks. Remember to cut them to 1/4 inch. With the votive, we can place it inside a votive glass and go ahead and light it. If you need any more help or information, make sure to visit us on our website, directcandlesupply.com. Thank you for being with me today.